Hi, this is Bridger. We're March 17th. Just wanted to shoot some of this experimental food plot out here. Actually, it's our forage plot, testing plot. I have been noob to planting stuff. So we've been doing this for this time last year I'd already planted. I'm going to wait a month to do a summer mix. But we do have a lot of this rye that's getting mature. The old radishes. Oh wow, look at that. I can't tell if it's an 18 or if it's a... No? That's Air Force. Let me in. Alright, cool. I like those interruptions. I like those. The old radishes are all flowered out. There's actually a butterfly in the flowers. That's what I like to see. I like those. I always check the flowers to see what kind of pollinators or beneficial insects might be getting in there. These are all radishes, daikon radishes, that are getting toward the end of things. There's a pretty big radish right there. Let's see if it'll come out of there. It's fair size. Use that as a tiller radish, and we'll just leave it right there. But yeah, it hasn't rained a lot lately, but a lot of this stuff's getting mature and starting to yellow up. But this was out in here. There was a lot of bare ground, which is why I planted this again in December, just to try and lose some of these spaces. I didn't get them all taken out, like this one right here. I don't like that bare ground. Tried to get that out of there, but we did the best we could. So a lot of this stuff is starting to mature. It's got heads on it. I would imagine this stuff will be, I don't know, another month maybe. It'll be ready to go. Maybe I'll collect it and use it as seed later. The newer stuff, I don't know. There's some starting to seed out there, just at a different stage. So a lot of the radishes that I planted in December have come up, but they're not really going anywhere. I think it's too warm. Especially after February, we were for most of the month in the 80s for highs, which is highly unusual for most of the month. And then in March we've cooled off again. So this is what, Saturday? Yeah. This past week we've had probably 4 days of frost. So we've had a really active winter this year. But February was just crazy hot. There's a ladybug right there. We like to see those. Those are good stuff. So yeah, some of the spots on the ground I wanted to get filled in. Some of them didn't. We'll do a better job of that. I'd like to have an old seed drill if I could find one cheap, and I think I can. Get an old seed drill and modify it a little bit and actually pull it with my vehicle. Don't need a tractor to do that. And maybe on 12-inch rows, maybe a little bigger. And we can probably spend less on seed and get a lot more germination out of it. Kind of like the Aussies do with vehicles. I think that's really cool. I'm not going to buy a brand new seeder because the damn things are, it's almost like buying a small house. I'm just not going to do that on 15 acres. It's just not worth it. And the other option is to pay someone to come in and do it. We have one of those companies around, my seed company. They do that stuff. But I'd rather do it myself. It's a hell of a lot more fun. At least the thought of it, doing it myself. I'd rather do that. So a lot of this stuff is getting mature. A lot of the chicory has gotten really mature. I like the chicory because it's got a long taproot on it. It's really helping where I've seen it in high numbers. It's really breaking up that soil compaction, which is one of the issues I have here. And I'm probably gonna go down to the lake down there. I've got some more rye down there in that bottom corner down there. I'm gonna have tons of seed. I can just figure it. I don't know. I might go along and just cut the tops off with my hands on these tufts. Do you see some of this? This stuff's been mowed. This has been mowed, so it's come in a lot thicker. This stuff out here, which has not been mowed, it's just coming up like normal. So obviously I'm not going to go out here and grab every individual plant and cut the head off of it, but I may get in some of these tufts and maybe spend a couple hours just collecting some of the tops of those and use them for seed. This is a spot that I just spread out some rye seed and put a sprinkler on it, and it came up in a perfect circle right here. So I'm going to run down to the lake and we'll kind of look at stuff down there too. All right, be right back. Okay, so right here I've got another batch of rye planted down here. I don't know what the plant is. I'm sure somebody out there, if they see this, they'll know what it is, but this is basically what I had. You know, if I don't know what it is, I just call it something with cow in it. I'll call this cow weed. I don't know what it is. The cold, the frost will kill it pretty fast, knock it back. But this was about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 feet tall in here, and I mowed it. And in an effort to kind of reclaim this area, I just came in and planted about, I don't know, 50 pounds to the acre rate of rye in here. And it came up fairly well. Just trying to reclaim this because it was all grown up and the hay guy wouldn't even cut it. I just wanted to get it cut down. So I ended up coming down and cutting it myself. And so there's a good batch of rye that came up in here. Just to try and get something in here that other than weeds or the stuff we don't want. I'm actually walking in what will be the new road down here, and the fence will be here all the way down to the lake. And then we'll set this up for rotational grazing. I'm going to go down here and show the fence line because there's a real bitch of a project down there for getting fence redone, but I've got to do it. So yeah, we'll look at that. So here we are, almost down to the lake. The fence line is right here. The old fence line that was here when my family bought the place in '63. So I also came down here and mowed this and threw some rye in here, and it came out really good. It's a lot more, you know, we're by a body of water, so it's a lot more moist, and it's come up really well here. You can see that fence line along the shoreline on that far side. This is south, so on the south end there's a fence line there. And then we have the north-south fence line here on the east end of the place that I've pretty much decided I'm going to replace. But this is going to be a real bitch. And I'll get it done, but there's a lot of willow coming up in here. We've never had willow. I grew up here. We've never had willow down here. Yeah, this place is just going back to woody species. All of these tall bushes in here, they remind me of gallberry, but that's not what they are. All of that woody stuff, you know, that's all getting about 2 inches, 3 inches around. All that stuff was never down here. We usually had cows down here working on that. Now we've got the willows coming in. The willow will absolutely take the place over, but I'll change that with cows. Right straight through there, you can't even see it. In this jungle right here, and this is where the actual water line starts. You can see the posts going through there. I got to come through here and change this out and get fence back in there because the water right now is low as I've ever seen it. I think, my entire life. And so now if I'm ever going to, make a project out of redoing the fence, which literally is 60 years old, now's the time to do it. So this stuff breaks off pretty easy. It's like reeds or something. Yeah, those really dark reeds that are hollow. Just gonna have to get through there and bust all that out and then get new fence in here, and on the far side too, because I was contemplating over here just running fence in front of the lake and keep the cows out of it. But I'm not going to just let them open range out here. They're going to be rotationally grazed. So if they're here and then they leave, that's good. And I want them to take care of all this overgrown, large, woody stuff. Get that cleaned up as much as they will. I may have goats down here too. I don't know if Max can convince me to get sheep or not. He doesn't care. He's got his own sheep. He doesn't care. So yeah, pretty much decided why not get all the forage out of this that I can. That way, in the end, I can run more cows, have more forage, etc., etc., and get the most out of it. Plus, the cows in a rotational grazing system will do nothing but benefit this area. And whatever livestock, makes sense to me to have multiple species if I can swing that. And there's no reason why I can't. Goats. We've got cracker sheep down here. I didn't even know that Florida had adapted sheep breeds down here. I had no idea, so that's a learning experience for me. This is this little piece of like peninsula right here, if you want to call it that. It's not very big. I made this when I was 10. Pulled a bunch of weeds out and mud and stacked all of this up. And we made a little place, we didn't build a dock, so I just made this so I could come out here and fish a little further out into the lake. So this lake does not look anything like it used to when I was a kid. There used to be lily pads. The water didn't have near the bloom, the algae in it. To me, I'm no expert, but it screams nitrates coming in through the water table. Water table, that might not be the right term, but nitrates being leached. It's really changed in the last 10 years. So I'm hoping to teach myself how to get this back in shape too, and I think probably livestock will be a part of that process of making it better. But that fence there, again facing south, that's the original fence that's been here since my family bought the place. Over there we've got sandhill hooping cranes that nest there every year, and we got some ducks over here too. And I'll walk around the other end of the ponds. That fence line is starting to get to where I can get in there and work it now. Now, a new development this year, actually right here, we've got the grandkids, and they're old enough, especially Rage Baby, or otherwise known as Aiden. We came down here with some worms to let them go fishing, and lo and behold, he caught a speckled perch. I've been fishing in this lake since I was a little bit older than him, and we never caught any. So nature has seen fit to give us one of my favorite freshwater fish in our little lake, and we've got speckled perch in here now. So that's really cool. That even makes me even more now than ever to do what I can to get this lake back in shape, whatever way I can do that. I don't have a plan for that yet. I just know I'm gonna start with the livestock on the rest of the place. We'll probably do the test plot up there that I've been showing. Probably do that in vegetables, a small bit of it. We might have, just direct sales right up here for produce that we grow, vegetables that we grow, And then once I've got beef going, we'll just do direct sales on beef as well. Maybe chickens, I don't, if I've got goats, that'd be something I would probably sell them on the hoof, or, whatever. But the lake here is going to be a hobby, part of land stewardship that I want to learn about. I want this place to be better than when I leave this earth than it has been while I've been here. So, I hope we'll keep this in the family when I'm gone. Maybe Aiden or his sister will own it, or hopefully they'll get on board with me as I'm learning this to keep this place productive and keep it in good shape for the future. I hope to build a little business on this. I'm not looking to make $1 million, but I'm tired of having my somebody's thumb on me, telling me I have to work for them, have to wait to go on vacation, I have to work 12 days straight. I just can't stand that shit anymore. So hopefully we can grind out some kind of little living here, and one of the avenues we'll take is with livestock and rotational grazing. You can see green grass sticking up a little bit in places, like right here, because it's moist right here. There's some rye planted on that as well. And then you have this dead looking dormant bahia grass right here. It was green, everything was green, but the cold weather came back in March, and so it's all knocked back again. And so in the next 14 to 21 days, we'll hit warm enough temperatures where we won't have to really worry about frost anymore. Normally, if frost is over in this area of Florida, Central Florida, by end of February. And if you do have frost days in March, it's very minimal, but we've had, like I said earlier, we've had lots and lots of frost in March this year. It's been a really unusual year for winter. And the warm temperatures in February is just crazy. So I'm gonna go down here and shoot this fence line down here, and we'll be back. So here we're at the south fence. You can see that's a very old post. This fence has been here forever, since way before I was born. And the water is now receded to the inside of the posts. So if there's ever going to be a time I can get in here and freshen this up or rebuild it, it's going to be now, anywhere between now and before May, when the rainy season starts. Now, when I was a kid, the water line was out over this fence, usually 25, 30 feet. I fished on this side of the fence in a boat before. So the water is considerably lower than what we're used to. It hasn't really been that high for a long, long time. But this year, the water level is already coming down to a place where I look at this fence and I'm like, well, it's now or never, maybe. So that's kind of the way I'm approaching it. I was thinking about putting a fence, kind of just squaring this off and just keep the cows out of this, but maybe that's not the right way to do it. And I think is that 2 hens right there? You see the ducks? Let me see if I can zoom it without losing too much. Where are they? Yeah, you can't see them. They're there. Look like 2 hens, I'm not sure. Yeah, I was thinking about fencing this off in the square and then going up to the existing fence up there. But I think I'm just gonna rebuild the old fence and get as much forage and space out of this as I can, because the cows in here, goats, whatever livestock in here will reclaim a lot of this. This is all turned to grasses, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's good dirt under that. That's been covered for years like this. There's a little bit of rye in that corner up there that I planted. All with the idea of getting some diversity in the ground. And when we get cows out here, I'm not going to worry about seeding it too much, I don't believe, except from a forage standpoint for all year, because I don't want to feed hay. So probably in the fall, like oats, rye, brassicas, something like that. We'll do a light seeding down here. If I had a seeder, that'd be really good, but we don't have that yet. I'll actually probably pipe water down with poly pipe from up there instead of letting them come down and drink in the lake, because they'll plug it up down here if they've got access to it all the time. I don't really want that. So It's pretty cheap to run poly pipe down here. Enough that'll reach the corner over here, and I can have whatever paddocks I've got set up out here and just move the water as I move them. So that's the idea. That's the start. And then whatever process it takes, as close to natural as I can to get this lake in good shape. It looks nothing like it used to when I was a kid. It looks so good. We had to run people out of here all the time because they wanted to fish in it, and they convinced themselves, they thought about it long enough, they just thought they could hop the fence and come do it. And here lately, I haven't been running people out, and there's more people around here now than ever. So, there's some cattails coming up there and down in the corner where the cranes are. But this thing looks a world of difference. To me, the way it used to look, the way it looks now, it looks stagnant. But hopefully we can turn that around. All this bloom here, not this past year, but the summer before, this thing was covered with bloom. Almost completely covered over, just a little bit of open water in the middle. So that's probably something beyond my control. I don't know, but I'll learn about that and see if we can. I'll end up doing whatever I can do to make this aquatic area as good as I can myself. So we'll see about that. So yeah, March 17th, we're getting ready to do some fencing here as quick as I can, because I'd like to get it done before the summer heat starts. And then once we get that, we'll start pulling the livestock in, and then maybe even growing some vegetables and all that up in the top section on the north end where all the test plot stuff is. Okay, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching, and we'll have another update probably after I plant, which will be, I'm shooting for the middle of April, with summer mix cover crops up there in the test plot. I'm probably going to put at least 12 species up there, because I've got some extra plants that I want to add into the mix. We'll do that, and I'll definitely shoot that. We'll get a video on that, and I don't know, maybe something in between that, between now and then. It's about a month away. So all right, you guys take care. I'll see you next time.